Hello, everyone.
What?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 27th episode of the Diverse Dialogues podcast. I'm Mateo,
And I'm Ruben.
and for today's podcast, it's technically another one of those like we had nothing else to talk about, but we found out something at the end of the day. We're talking about video games. Like we haven't talked about those enough already, but
Yeah.
uh,
But this one is a little bit different because here's a little bit of lore for you, y'all. Before the Diverse Society even happened, our final for our English class was a podcast. And our topic of that podcast was talking about our top 10 favorite video game genres.
mm-hmm.
So I randomly remembered that, so I gave Mateo that idea. So we're sort of, but not really doing that because it's not a top 10, it's just genres in general.
Yep. So, yeah, we are basically just going to list off all of our video game genres, and oddly enough, a lot of them are probably going to be in the like that were said. A lot of the things that were said back then are going to be said here again, or not,
Yeah.
because our opinions have definitely changed, and that's partially the reason why we even wanted to do this episode in the first place. So. We're not going to do any questions because a lot of the video games that we have talked about previously are on this podcast, so there's no point of repeating the same questions. But I guess if we want to start off with a question, when was the moment that you first were introduced to video games? Honestly, it was when the Wii first came out. That's my answer.
Let's see here. I know the very first video game I ever played, which was Pac-Man World 2, and it was on the original Xbox. And I don't even know how old. I'm just gonna say I was like 4 or something. But yeah, that was probably the oldest console I ever played. Was the original Xbox.
Yeah, basically the Wii and the Wii when the Wii and the DSi first came out, those were like the times where like I was really getting into video games.
And funnily enough, even though I said that was my first ever video game, I just remember that's actually not the oldest console because another one of the video games I played in my childhood was Smash Bros. Melee, which was on the GameCube, which came out in like 1999 or something.
All right, but other than that, we'll just go straight into the video, and I'll just let Ruben take it from here.
Okay, so basically, what we're going to do is that we're going to be going down a list of video game genres. Now, some of these can kind of blend in with one another, like open world and RPG, but I decided to separate them. And some of them, you're probably going to be like, wouldn't that fit in this genre? Honestly, it was just to add more to that genre, because the genres I have later, I only got like 1 or 2 games listed down.
Same. I have like little when you're trying to think of things to talk about, you then forget about it in the moment, but then afterwards, it was the same with the what's in it, the inside jokes.
Yeah.
Afterwards, we of course thought of plenty more. But honestly, that video was already long enough, so I'm honestly glad that we at least had like we did not go through every single one of them. So.
Yeah.
But on that note, Ruben, what are we gonna start off with?
Alright, so first up, we have platformer games. A very, very common example is Banjo-Kazooie. No, I'm just kidding. Mario, obviously. So for me, 2 Mario games I decided to list on here. One is Super Mario Maker, both 1 and 2. Just watch any Dash video, you'll know why that's my favorite. But also, Super Mario 3D World, the one that introduces Plessie, who's the Walmart version of Yoshi since he's not playable in that game. Also, it introduces Blue Toad as a playable character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only good reason.
Anyways, I have more than just those. Next up, I have Sonic Unleashed. Honestly, I was debating if I should just put like the Sonic games in general, but I think the one I have most fond memories is Sonic Unleashed.
That's a good one.
And hot take,
Shut up.
I actually like the nighttime levels. A lot of people hate the nighttime levels. I like them. And don't worry, I'm still not done. Next up, Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Honestly, playing that, I will agree that game is basically Dark Souls for babies.
God damn.
Golly. But yeah, I didn't think I'd get interested in that game, but apparently I did. And finally, I have one more. The only indie game on here, Katana Zero. I was debating if I should put this in some other categories, but no, I put it on here. Katana Zero. Only reason I got into it was because I heard it's similar to Hotline Miami, which I'll talk about in a bit. But Katana Zero, it's also a fighting game in a way, and it's fucking addicting as hell, and also extremely difficult, but in a good way.
Nice, nice, nice. Speaking of Kirby, I did remember I used to play a Kirby game on my DS, but I forgot what the name of it was.
Mm-hmm.
So,
The only Kirby game I know on the DS is like that freaking Mech one or whatever it is.
it was not the Yarn one, by the way.
Yeah.
It wasn't that Yarn bullcrap, but it was just something else. But anyways, on my platformer list, also I have to mention, some of these are going to be bullshit, just like absolutely like joke answers, because I cannot think of anything, because when you're trying to think of, because a lot of these games fit into what Ruben said, multiple different categories, so it's going to be tough to really, list them without repeating some. So in terms of platformer, here's a different Sonic game, one that actually came out pretty recently, or at least from last year, Sonic X Shadow Generations, because I already liked Sonic Generations beforehand, but then adding the Shadow levels. By the way, the Shadow levels are fucking unbelievably fun. So I was like, even though I still haven't finished either of the chapters, but still, I had a blast playing Generations and even the Shadow Generations levels too. So they did a really, really good job. And I could stay here and say I played a whole bunch of I could have just listed off a whole bunch of Sonic games as my platform, but I was like, I'll just I have one coming up later for a genre that definitely does not suit it, but we'll get to that. This one is a bit of a stretch. Happy Wheels. Just because, yes, you could do a lot of platforming, and you could also kind of as like a sandbox, but at the same time, you basically build the levels and it becomes a platformer. And I personally never played Happy Wheels, and that's another thing too. Some of these games are games that we have not played, but watch and enjoy watching other people play on stuff. So it's like, if we were to ever play it, we probably would have a lot of fun, but mostly it's watching other people fun that makes us enjoy it a lot more. So that's why Happy Wheels is on here, because Jacksepticeye's Happy Wheels videos are amongst the funniest shit on the fucking internet, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then the other one, I just added in the very last minute, Super Mario Maker. And for good reason.
Yep.
But that's pretty much it for all the platformers. I think I might be missing one. I think I did play, I forgot what DS Mario game it was, but new
Super Mario Bros.
That was it.
Not Super Mario Bros. That one's whack, but new Super Mario Bros. Is good.
Yeah, the one where you get the big mushroom.
Yes.
And you just get to stomp through the entire level.
Uh-huh. All right. Next up, shooters. Now, this can be very vague as well. So, I'm counting first-person shooters, third-person shooters, tactical shooters, you name it, and in one of my cases, top-down shooters, but I'll get into that. First up, for third-person shooters, I have Marvel Rivals.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all heard me talk about this game here and there, and as much as they absolutely neutered Jeff, that actually motivated me to play other characters. And I think part of the reason I am willing to play the game is just the hype of them adding new Marvel characters. Like the moment they announced freaking Rogue and Gambit, I was like, okay, now I'm gonna be playing this game more often. And leaks of Deadpool. Once that happens, there's no going back. For first-person shooter, I have Payday 2. This is a game I like to go back every now and then. Probably the only heist-related game I can think of that's not GTA. But yeah, that game has so many guns it probably rivals every shooting game I've ever played in my entire life. Music is of course a blast. The missions are fun, whether it's loud or stealth. I played stealth for once, and yeah, all around one of my favorite games ever. But for top-down shooters, I have Hotline Miami. This is probably my favorite. Well, Hotline Miami 1 and 2, one of my favorite games ever. Challenging, but in a good way. Great characters, great soundtrack, great level design, great story, you name it. Just great all around. So, yeah, that's all I gotta say. Oh, fun fact about me. Want to know what my least favorite video game genre is? Tactical shooter. A great example is Valorant.
Oh, they're going to the other indie game that you've constantly
No,
denounced.
no. Tactical shooter game. The one where it's 5v5. The objective is to place a bomb and you can buy weapons and every character has different abilities.
Oh, so Rogue Company.
Yeah.
Okay.
As well as Fragpunk. Remember that game, y'all?
What now? Okay. So, fair warning, shooter games are not necessarily my all-time favorite, but over the years with me playing with these guys, it has brought a lot more fun when you have other people involved with you. Those are the only times that, well, honestly, in general, I think playing with friends in general with any sort of game just makes it 10 times better, in my opinion. Because I recently lost my motivation to really just play games on my own. But of course, shooting genre, Marvel Rivals is one of them because duh, it's Marvel, and you actually get to have fun in that game. Well, to an extent, but in other ways, especially with me as Iron Man, I get to actually not only turn off my brain and play, but also just not really have to think much, and also just have a fun time in general. Because that's all I'm here to do is just have fun.
Yeah. Imagine playing the game just to not have fun. Who would do that?
I know, right? Like, why would you ever go to the competitive game mode?
Am I right? Yeah.
And for the other one, I only had two. This is kind of a joke one, but amongst the few mobile games I played back in the day, Pixel Gun 3D.
The way you said mobile, I knew where it was going. Pixel Gun 3D.
It was fun back in the day.
Yeah, back in the day, yeah.
Yeah, nowadays it sucks, but back then it was fun, so.
Mm-hmm.
And I will never pick it back up again, but it was fun at the time, and that was the only other shooting game I could think of.
Okay.
And for those that are wondering, no, I'm not going back to Overwatch to play the Italian character, even though I've wanted one for a while. I'm not going back to playing Vendetta. Anyways, moving on.
Okay. Next up, we have fighting games. I only have two franchises, but I'm going to pick a few games of each franchise. First, Mortal Kombat. More specifically, Mortal Kombat 9, because that was the one that introduced my love for Mortal Kombat. Technically, I played Mortal Kombat Deception first, but I wasn't hooked into it. Mortal Kombat 9 was the one that got me hooked into Mortal Kombat as a whole. In terms of characters, story, the gameplay, all of it. And Mortal Kombat X made me appreciate the gameplay aspect of it, because I think that one was more for competitive focus, I guess.
Yeah, in a sense, I can see that.
Yeah.
Even though Mortal Kombat 9 was competitive heavy too, because my god, the top players back in the day, you could probably do a random pick a name out of a hat of any of the characters and you still probably would be able to win because of how broken each character was. Yeah.
I was debating about picking Mortal Kombat 11 because ever since playing Mortal Kombat 1, it made me appreciate MK11 more. It's the equivalent of watching the old Fantastic Four movies and then you watch Fant Four Stick and you're like, okay, maybe these old ones aren't so bad. That's how I felt with MK11 and 1. So I'm not putting those two on there.
Fair enough.
Oh, and I'm still not done with fighting games because the next one I have is Super Smash Bros. Flame me all you want, that is a fighting game, whether you like it or not. Anyways, the two Super Smash Bros. Games I had most fond memories of was Super Smash Bros. Melee, which was one of the first video games I ever played, and the second, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, because how could you not like that one?
That it?
I mean, yeah.
Okay. So in terms of fighting games for me, I'll go a bit off tangent, but also, honestly, me and Ruben have almost the exact same thing, except the very first game I ever played and also was introduced to in terms of Mortal Kombat was also Mortal Kombat 9. But at the time, I was just oh, okay, it's just another game. And then MKX was when I actually got into the franchise. So I'll technically put both 9 and X as my other favorites. Mortal Kombat 1 was it for a week.
For me, it was a minute.
And then, yeah, we all know how that turned out. I will give the honorable mention to Mortal Kombat 11. It won't list it off, but it will be an honorable mention because first off, the game still looks incredible, and also the story. We'll get to that in a minute, but the story also carries that game a lot. Besides the whole time bull crap.
Yeah.
And then for fighting, I kind of piggybacked off of him as well with the Smash Ultimate, but also Smash Brawl. Now I know a lot of people are kind of despise that one. Well, first off, it has the best Smash theme. Fight me on that comment section. I don't care. And it was the game. It was the Smash Bros that I was introduced to. That got me introduced to Smash Bros. Oddly enough, I was in Tennessee when I first was introduced to it. So of all places.
Funny. All right. Next, this is action adventure, but I also like to call it the miscellaneous category because you can pick a bunch of games and it's gonna fit perfectly in here. So, for an example, the first up I have is Cuphead. First of all, I had no clue where to fucking put. I could have put in platformer, but I already have enough there. So I might as well just put Cuphead. It's the miscellaneous one. Aside from that, I love the old cartoon art style that the game has. And we all know that's a very rage-inducing game. But, of course, when you play it a lot, it's not that difficult. Therefore, it's not that rage-inducing. So from there, it's actually a pretty fun game. I like to speedrun that game, like, from time to time. And, yeah, playing it now, it's pretty much a cakewalk. That DLC that took like 5 years in the making. It was totally worth it. Next up, I have Castle Crashers, one of my childhood games that for whatever reason everyone's getting into now. But yeah, fighting. Even though of course it's gonna get repetitive since you play it. You beat the game as a character, unlock a character, beat the game as that character. Of course, it's going to be repetitive. Aside from that, music's great, fights are great, leveling up your characters is great. And even though I played solo most of the time, it was still fun.
Nice.
And finally, I have Binding of Isaac. I had no fucking clue where to put this. I don't even know what genre you can call that. But I love how challenging it is. I love all the items you can get. The music's great. The boss fights are both challenging and fun at the same time. And overall, really great. I don't even have the DLC in the game. It's still fun. But yeah.
For me, I only have one on the action adventure. Like I said, I had a tough time. This is kind of last minute. I put Sonic and the Black Knight because I could not think of anything else.
Okay.
I had a lot of great memories of it growing up, and I probably if I were to maybe in the future if they were to remaster it and do a re-release of all the story-based games, which they probably will never do, but if they were to ever do it, I will 110% buy that. So I'm hoping in the Game Awards if they announce that probably will be like that'll make this year for me. But and the only real reason why I even chose this game is because I will stand on this hill. One of the best soundtracks ever in video game history. I'm just saying that right now. Okay. One of the best of all time.
Okay.
Anyways, moving on. I literally only had one. I could not think of anything else.
Okay, next up, we have rhythm games. I think you have more than one for this one. First up, Geometry Dash.
Yep.
Our last podcast was all about Geometry Dash, so I feel I shouldn't really explain that. But yeah, great soundtracks, even though it's all from independent composers, not the actual gaming team or whatever. Same could be said for Just Shapes and Beats. I like to call that a mix of Geometry Dash and Undertale. And keep in mind, this was before the Lost Chapter DLC where Spider Dance was a soundtrack. So I basically predicted it.
Yeah.
But yeah, soundtracks are great. Even, you know what would keep the game alive? Custom levels. And being able to add different soundtracks than just whatever. I know, I'm sure it would be a challenge, but that would be amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be challenging to create levels with just shapes and beats.
Like, actually program like a freaking designer shit.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
That would actually be really good, too.
Yeah.
I actually would have liked that.
No, I'm still not done.
Oh, okay.
I still have 2 more games. Next up, and I don't care if I butcher this, Taiko no Tatsujin. It's that one Japanese drumming game that here's a little something funny about that. In that game, they divide into categories. You have pop, anime, classic, video game music, and miscellaneous. And in anime, I noticed Dragon Ball opening, I noticed One Piece, and I also noticed the Moana song. So I was like, wait, is Moana an anime?
Okay, I forgot about that.
Aside from that, it's a pretty, even though you only have 2 buttons in that game, it's still pretty fun. Even though the game does not freaking follow the drum part of the songs, it can go from drum to melody to vocals, whatever. And finally, I have Muse Dash. I thought it was going to be similar to Geometry Dash, but no, it's more similar to Taiko no Tatsujin. A shitload of soundtracks, all Japanese. And fun fact, Jordan actually bought this game. He played the tutorial and never played it again. So I'm just sitting there like, bro, what made you not play this game and why did you buy it? Okay, other than that, even though there's only 2 buttons, it's still pretty challenging, but in a good way. Music's great. I even have an entire playlist of songs that I have on my phone. But yeah, great.
And for me, all I have is Geometry Dash and Jet Shapes and Beats.
Okay.
And there's not much to say because he pretty much already said it.
Yeah. All right, next up, horror. Surprise, surprise, my first one, Dead by Daylight. Honestly, here's the funny thing. I was debating if I should even put this on horror. Because when you play Dead by Daylight, after like 10 matches, you realize it's not a horror game. It's actually a competitive game. Okay, no, but other than that, yes, the game is buggy as shit, especially right now. Yes, the community is fucking smelly as hell.
Green aura.
Yeah, green aura with flies. Other than that, I love the occasional lore here and there. I love like the different horror subgenres that are put into this game. I didn't even think we'd get a gore themed subgenre up until the Krasu appeared. But yeah, aside from all the negatives about Dead by Daylight, everything else I love about it. Still not done though. Next up, Five Nights at Freddy's. I decided to include like the entire franchise because there are some games I love, like Ultimate Custom Night and FNAF 2, I guess. But there are some games I don't like, such as Sister Location, Flame Me All You Want, and Security Breach. So I just picked some here and there. Ultimate Custom Night, of course, I love it for the gameplay aspect of it. And Sister Location, I hate it since it's not even a video game. It's actually a giant YouTube video. And the last one, I wanted to pick one indie game on here. It was a tie between Doki Doki Literature Club and Baldi's Basics. And I don't know why. But I love Baldi's Basics. Maybe I just love like the weird fucking low quality aesthetic it has. Maybe it's the gameplay aspect. And maybe it's other YouTubers playing it. I don't know. I just love that game.
Me personally, when I first saw that, it took me way back in the day when you go to the computer lab and just play any of like the video games on those things.
Yeah.
I don't know why it brought me that, but I guess it's just because of the low quality and it just like it legitimately looked like one of those kindergarten games that you'd play, except not horror. Like it looked like they just took a kindergarten game and then just like programmed it to be a horror game.
Yep. Fun fact: that game was inspired by a Sonic educational game.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So before I list off mine, our food just arrived here. We normally would do it afterwards, but we don't want to just we were already taking too much time, so we decided to order it in the middle of it. So we'll be right back after. There's no commercial message. We'll be right back. All right, and after a delicious Wendy's meal, we are back, and we are continuing off in the horror genre with my segment. For horror, I have 2, and another one that I don't typically like playing or necessarily am like a big geek about, but over the years I definitely have gotten acquainted to liking horror a lot more, and again, thanks to these guys, but also just because of just the environment I am in with just like Dead by Daylight was a big one, but that's definitely not my favorite. But for one of them, it's a bit of a surprising one. Simulacra.
Oh, I remember that one.
Really, in my opinion, what carries it is just like the story and how in some ways I just love like watching like the players interact with like the characters like in the phone, because I like the idea of like a lost phone horror game. I was like, that's actually like kind of unique. And I mean, it does fall in the same problem I have with the movie Devil, where you're trapped in an elevator. And the thing is, right, the film could have been about so the movie Devil, I kind of want to like watch it with these guys just to get their opinions on it, or maybe we'll just watch the review of the Nostalgia Critic, because that movie's whole premise is that it's a bunch of people trapped in an elevator, but one of them is the killer, and the power is faulty, so the lights go off, and every time the lights go off, the killer will strike. And right then and there, that sounds amazing. But the thing is, they decided to add the devil as the killer. So it's like, okay, so you're just adding a stupid supernatural like entity in there for no real big reason. And same goes with Simulacra, where the ending is basically just this entity named the Simulacra, who is a pretender trying to, get the lowest of people and just taking him away from the earth. So it's like because if it would just been like a regular like whole serial killer thing, it probably would have been like, honestly, that could be a good for like a plot twist movie. If they end up making a movie about Simulacra, I bet that would be amazing to have just like a regular killer, not some like super big entity, supernatural entity. But other than that though, like also the jump scares in that game actually are legitimately really good. Mm-hmm. So that's why Simulacra is one of my favorites. But and then to go from the not so popular to the oh god, you of course you add that as your answer, FNAF.
Yep.
But here's the thing though, unlike Ruben, where he basically just like named the whole franchise but like a select few, I named FNAF 4 as my favorite. From a lore standpoint, from a holy shit I need to fucking lock in standpoint, and just from the fact that I think everyone was like, there's no way we're going to get a FNAF 4, and then lo and behold, there it was, and it's the scariest fucking version of it, I think, honestly, to this day.
Yeah, I agree.
I guess I will put the honorable mention for Dead by Daylight, because, I mean, I personally find it more funny than it is scary.
Yeah, and like I said, you play it after 10 rounds, you realize it's not a horror game. It's actually a competitive game. For some stupid reason.
And I definitely played it, like, when I first started playing it, I definitely played it every wrong move you could possibly do, especially doing the one thing that you should never say in Dead by Daylight, and that's every man for yourself.
Yeah. I love watching videos like new people playing Dead by Daylight, because they're like walking really slowly, they're crouching, they're hiding in lockers. And then when you play the game, like, after playing, like, frickin' 100 rounds, you run around, make as many noises as you can, and you get chased by the killer on purpose.
Do we ever bring up the every man for himself in the inside jokes?
Because I asked you if you wanted it. But no, I didn't.
All right, well, like, since we're talking about it, I guess...
Yeah, basically when we were playing Dead by Daylight for the first time, we did Kill Your Friends, and Mateo was unhooked, but he didn't unhook. Okay, they're both hooked in basement. Mateo was unhooked, but instead of unhooking Glenn, he instead leaves and says, "Every man for himself." That's not what you're supposed to do in Dead by Daylight. You need to cooperate. I don't care how many Sables are on your team. Unfortunately, that's how it works.
Again, this is when I was, like, basically first getting into Dead by Daylight, by the way. After them constantly saying, yo, get Dead by Daylight, get Dead by Daylight, get Dead by Daylight. So I literally had, literally no idea what I was getting myself into. And I just put it in the mindset, I put myself in the mindset of what a horror character in a movie should do.
Okay.
Alright, anyways, moving on.
Alright. Next up, we have survival games. Now, this can technically go on par with horror or another subgenre we'll get into. So, yeah, just for the sake of filler, I added survival. My first is Project Zomboid. Playing that game is probably like the most realistic zombie survival game. Because with most, you just have to worry about food, drinks, and not get infected. Here, you gotta worry about food, drinks, your temperature, your sleep, your sickness, basically everything. You could even get sore and get exhausted from running. It's basically real life with zombies.
Damn.
But yeah. And even though it's basically a survival game, there are times the game is actually pretty relaxing, surprisingly. And yeah, it's just a really fun and somehow relaxing survival game. The next up I have is Left 4 Dead. You could technically count this as a shooter, but survival is like the main objective of it. Left 4 Dead is like one of the first zombie games I ever played. By the way, in horror as well as survival, I was going to put Dead Island because that was also a game I played in my childhood, but playing it now as an adult, that game is like terrible. Left 4 Dead, on the other hand, playing it like years later, it's still fun. Even if you don't have mods, even if you have no one to play with, even if you're playing with AI, the game is still fun. So yeah, it's Left 4 Dead. And that's
That's all of it?
Yeah.
Okay. So I only have one for survival because there is one in a different category that could fall into this one as well. But again, I wanted to just find at least one for each category. And because and this game honestly could have gone in multiple different ways. It could have been a sandbox. It could have been a horror thing even. But the thing is, I didn't put it in horror because I don't have the fear of the ocean. So I put it in survival. It's Subnautica. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, this is another like an example of when an indie game becomes a big phenomenon, and I absolutely love not only watching people play this game, but I also enjoyed the hell out of playing it. Mm-hmm. Now, here's the thing. Even if I say I have a fear of the ocean, because I don't, it's still scary at the end of the day, because you're still going up against like this gigantic Reaper Leviathan, which is still terrifying, but I am not like scared of the ocean in general. But man, that game, not only does it look great, even for the time, it feels great. The story is very incredible, and I am super excited, but also concerned about Subnautica 2, where you get to play it with friends in multiplayer, and I think crossplay too. So hopefully that could be a game that we'll be all able to get and actually make a video on, because I legitimately want to see how Glenn fares with a underwater game, and I want to see all the whole group realistically. I mean, I don't know how many people can be in the game, but the reason why I'm skeptical about it is because apparently right now in development they're already gotten to like really like big issues, and they're already like bought out by like a very crappy company. So now it's like, oh crap, this could go south really quick. Mm-hmm. But that's it. That's all I have really for survival.
Mm-hmm. Next up, RPG. Now, RPG, that's technically a genre of many subgenres. And despite all that, I only have two. And one of them is just a franchise itself, surprisingly. So the first up is Pokemon. Mm-hmm. Y'all know Pokemon. You've heard our opinions on Pokemon here and there. Which, by the way, you want to talk about Legends ZA for a bit?
Sure, why not?
So, remember in our first Pokemon podcast, we were like, we have some high hopes for Legends ZA just because it takes place in Gen 6? Yeah, that went nowhere.
The only thing going for it was Mega Evolutions, and even then they still managed to fumble that.
The only one I liked was, like, Chandelure, I think?
Chandelure had a good one.
All the other ones were just weird, and then there's fucking Mega Scrafty, which y'all know. I saw that, I was like, oh my god, it's fucking that.
And then the best one of all, remember Mega Starmie?
Yes. Mega Starmie, yeah.
Everyone put it like that like the fucking image with like Patrick with like the high heels. That's basically what the
Yes. Anyways, aside from that, the older Pokemon games, somehow Pokemon Sword and Shield looks redeemable compared to that. Even if people had a problem with the graphics in that game.
And guess what, y'all? Because of how much trouble they got in, and with Power World, they decided that, and the rumors are true, Pokemon Wind and Waves, that is the name of the games, by the way, they're gonna basically rip off Power World because they realize, well, if you can't beat them, join them.
Yes.
At least just from what we saw from early leaks, but Gen 10 also again, so, and they're going back to Asia, it seems like. I think it's like, I forgot which part of Asia, but it's back to being in Asia again. And, but yeah, it just seems like another open world game, because, you know, the only one that was good was Legends Arceus, and even then, you then fumbled with the last one, and I don't think we'll ever get a good Pokemon game ever again.
Yep.
At this point.
Right. Anyways, the next up, I guess you could count these as joke answers. They're the South Park games, South Park: The Stick of Truth, and South Park: The Fractured Butthole. Anyways, even though they're like games of a show and one of the most offensive shows ever, the gameplay aspect, it's actually surprisingly, unironically fun. Stick of Truth, it took the theme of like fantasy characters, wizards, elves, etc. And the turn-based RPG, it's like one of the best turn-based RPGs I've ever played somehow. Somehow has one of the best soundtracks. I don't know how. And same for the Fractured Butthole. It was more like a superhero theme. So, of course, I liked it there. Soundtrack, of course, was great. I wasn't a fan of the combat in Fractured Butthole compared to the Stick of Truth, but it was still fun regardless. And the DLC... Yeah, the DLCs are also great. And yeah, that's all I have.
Okay, so honestly, a lot of this is going to be, you know, me and Ruben having a lot of similar, maybe not answers, but also just mainly franchises. Mm-hmm. So for me, the only real RPGs that I ever really played were Pokemon games, because those are like the most popular. And for me personally, I'll just combine them as one answer. Pokemon Black version and White version 2 and the first one. Those were the first Pokemon games I ever played, and still to this day, my favorite of all the DS games I ever played in my life. And honestly, one of my favorite games of all time. Just because the story is phenomenal. The music is another example when the music carries. And we all know that because the Driftville theme became popular again in recent years. Mm-hmm. Let's see what else was great about that. One of the best ever antagonists in the franchise, N. And say what you will about the Pokedex, I love it. Honestly, some people are like, well, it's just like reboot of the first generation. Honestly, some of these new some of Gen 5's Pokemon look a lot better than fucking Gen 1 Pokemon. Like, I would rather choose Gigalith over Golem any day in my life.
Right.
Despite it only being one type. Like, there was so much good, and I like how back then it was shit on, but now people are starting to finally realize it, because, you know, back then they, like, you know, many people played it, but now they're actually showing off the nostalgia for it, and, you know, actually getting more appreciative to it, because these more recent games have not been that great lately. And my other favorite is the good Kalos game, Pokemon X.
Yeah.
And a lot of people say that that game is very, very, very easy. And here's my answer. That is very, very true. Like,
right.
It is, to this day, I think, one of the easiest Pokemon games. And honestly, if they were to re-release it, I put a difficulty mode. I will just say that. Put a difficulty mode. And I feel like everyone would take back all of their answers. Mm-hmm. Like, in like a heartbeat. Because I'm pretty sure even like the rematch of the Elite Four is still pretty darn easy. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm pretty sure that's the case.
Yeah, funny thing, I feel like the old Pokemon games, I'm talking the Game Boy ones, they're a lot harder than like the modern ones.
Oh yeah.
Because I felt I beat the entirety of Gen 8 without even trying.
I got bored of Gen 8 in like halfway through.
Well, I beat the story mode and then never played it again. I attempted the shiny hunt, but that just went nowhere.
Like, Gen 7 and Gen 8, in my opinions, were both boring. I still rather prefer Gen 7 over Gen 8, by the way.
Yeah, here's the thing. I know Gen 7's like one of the most mediocre generations. I actually like Generation 7, not gonna lie.
And if I were to make an honorable mention, Pokemon Platinum, because over the years I've heard Platinum is the best as a Gen 5 fan. So it's like, okay, But then I would always constantly hear, oh yeah, Gen 4, Diamond and Pearl were pretty awful. So I was like, okay, so what's the point? But then I heard Platinum was the one to get. So I was like, okay, I'll get Platinum. By the way, Jesus Christ. On eBay sales alone, I was like, okay, maybe this actually means a lot because you want to get the real deal. It's like $300.
Yeah.
So I had no choice but to get a bootleg copy of it, and I almost thought I got scammed, but no, it's just like basically an emulator in a DS port.
Yeah.
So thankfully I didn't get like that scammed. But even though it's not like a legitimate port, I was still amazed by like how it was one of those examples where it's challenging, but also really darn fun. I will say that. And also all of the problems that people had, like I forgot what I think the team, I forgot what the team was. Not
in which generation?
4.
Gen 4. Team Galactic.
Galactic, that was it.
Yeah.
Jupiter, I think that was it was either Jupiter or Mars, the one that had Perugly. Everyone says that that's a very difficult fight to go through. I beat it on my first try without any like many casualties. Probably because I'm older and back then they were kids when they were playing it, so it was probably like really difficult. Which, by the way, in Gen 5, I was probably the worst ever player because I would skip through all the dialogue, so I would get lost and have like no idea where to go. But that's the beauty of like living and learning through those Pokemon games. So, and honestly, I'm to honestly protest at how horrible games are nowadays, I just go back to the DS every now and then.
Yeah. Anyways, next up, story-based games. I only have one, and I haven't even played this, but I wanted to include it because I want to include at least one. That being Detroit Become Human.
Mm-hmm.
Now, normally, like, when it comes to story, back in the day, I didn't really care about story in video games. I just glanced over and focused on the gameplay. But here, Detroit Become Human, I mean, maybe I just haven't like played any story games at all, but like there's so much moral ambiguity, which makes making your choices hard. And the soundtrack's great. The characters, like, again, the moral ambiguity, that's what I love about like the story throughout all of it. You can be like just really good throughout the entire story, be really bad, and it's like a humongous difference. And what I like the most is that even if you make the smallest little choices that you think like means nothing, it will have a humongous impact at some point. So naturally, there's like a shitload of endings in that game, some wilder than others. But yeah, it's really great story. And even like the acting and voice acting is like really great in that as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this one's a bit difficult for me because this was one of the ones where I didn't really put that much thought into because I didn't necessarily have a favorite. But in terms of a game that has an amazing story, I put down most NetherRealm games.
Okay, sure. Yeah, that works.
Because in terms of, you can hate on the game all you want in terms of a gameplay standpoint, but when it comes to stories, maybe not so much nowadays, but at least for back then, their stories were top notch. Like, people would always talk about how good NetherRealm stories were.
Mm-hmm.
And, how great the characters were, or how well they acted and everything. Like, they were really, really good. And not to say that not to say that Mortal Kombat 1 story was awful, because, I mean, it definitely was not awful.
Right.
It was still a good enough story. It was just Chaos Reigns that was, like, the weakest story they've ever made.
Mm-hmm.
But if I were to make a honorable mention, Dispatch.
Oh.
And I do hope that they do at least win an award because they deserve it. It's a small company. I want to support. I would like to support them. And no, I'm not going to talk about any of my opinions on who's better and which girl I want to is the best. Because guess what? They're fictional characters. Grow up.
Yeah. Back to Mortal Kombat. Okay, here's the thing. I love the Mortal Kombat 9 story. I love the Mortal Kombat X story. I even love the Mortal Kombat 11 story. Even with just the entirety of Kronika, I hate her. But the rest of it's pretty good. As for Mortal Kombat 1, though, I only love it up until the end of Melina's chapter. Because before then, I actually liked the story. But then after Melina's chapter, that's when it just fell flat. And don't even get me started on Chaos Reigns. And NetherRealm, Injustice story, even though I don't go back to it like at all, it was pretty good. I'll admit.
Injustice 2 had a really Injustice 2 had, well, first off, great voice acting and also just fantastic just outcomes and everything. But yeah, exactly what Ruben said. The moment it got to Shang Tsung revealing to be the main villain again from the last game, that was when everyone was like, now, god damn it. Here we are again with this time travel bullshit. And, you know, and of course, not to mention the amazing voice acting from Megan Fox.
Yes.
Who's going to be the voice of Toy Chico, which, by the way, I should be mad about that, right? Mm-hmm. But the thing is, her acting is so robotic and so emotionless, I think it actually would work.
Yes. One last thing about Injustice. I love just about everything except the fact that they just ruined the entirety of Wonder Woman. They just made her a psychopath for some reason. Anyways, next up, Sandbox. Surprise, surprise. Minecraft. Yep, that's going to be the case for both of us. It's Minecraft. It's existed for years, decades, etc. You can always go back to it, have a fun time. Even I, at some point, went back into it. And I was like, okay, this game's really relaxing and all that. I don't get why people say it's hard. I think y'all just suck at video games. I played that game on expert mode. That game's not hard.
I'm gonna have to try that then if that's the case.
Anyways, aside from that, Terraria. I was debating of putting this in like action adventure, but I wanted more room for a sandbox. Terraria. The game is nothing similar to Minecraft, y'all. Okay, just because it has blocks. You know what else has blocks? Fucking Mega Man. All right. Anyways, Terraria. Even though it is technically a sandbox game, I love like the weapons. I love looting. I love fighting the bosses. Soundtrack's great. You name it. It's amazing. And lastly, I have Animal Crossing. I actually almost forgot about this as I was writing this list. But Animal Crossing, very relaxing. Like, super mega relaxing. You can take a soundtrack from that game, play it in public, no one would know it's an Animal Crossing soundtrack. They'll just... I think wasn't that in the computer lab at El Camino? They were playing Animal Crossing music.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that game is like so relaxed. Like whenever I have a terrible day, I just boot that game up. But yeah, that's all I have for Sandbox.
All I have is Minecraft.
Yeah.
And for good reason.
Yep.
I don't think anything will ever beat it. It's still, there's a reason why it's one of the most popular and most beloved video games of all time. Mm-hmm. And it's my number one favorite game.
Yeah.
Is it a normie answer? Yes. Do I give a shit? No.
Okay. All right, next up, again, this can go hand in hand with the previous one. Next up, I have open world. Starting with Skyrim. Here's the thing. The whole fantasy genre, I only like it by like a little bit. I know there are people out there who like super mega love it. I'm just okay with it. Up until I played Skyrim, that like got me like hooked into like the fantasy genre. Of course, open world aspect, that fucking humongous, even if like 90% of the map is just snow. You know, the satisfaction of like completing an entire quest and getting some really powerful powers, dragon shouts, whatever the fuck. And even though I just skip through all of the dialogue, all I care about is just loot and money. Still fun. But yeah. Oh, but from something that takes place in like the medieval times with the fantasy genre, the next game I have is GTA. Yeah, open world game as usual. Completing quests. Surprisingly, the stories of GTA, they're actually pretty good. Like better than like most stories. Other than that, you know, it's fun to just drive around, shoot around, steal money, etc. But yeah, great. And here's the thing with GTA 6. Whenever I hear they delay it, I actually get a little bit happy because they would have more time to polish it, unlike fucking Grounded 2. Oh no, I'm sorry, Augusta. Yeah.
So this one was tough. Like I said, I could have had Minecraft on here, but there is one open world game that I think it's an open world game. So at the time when me and my brother were both sharing a PS4, one of the games that had an automatic download was God of War, then another game, and then Horizon Zero Dawn. And I was like, okay, I know about God of War. I'll save that because I don't know. I guess I just wasn't that interested into it. But then I tried Horizon Zero Dawn, and I actually remembered liking that game a lot for how it was like an open world and kind of in the same vein as kind of like how because when I first saw the gameplay for Pokemon Legends Arceus, it reminded me a lot of Zero Dawn in my opinion. And then I come to find out that the voice actor for the main character is also the same voice actor for Cassie Cage and MKX.
Ah, interesting.
And that's why she couldn't do the voice for Cassie Cage in 11 was because she was busy doing that.
Ah, all right.
So we lost the tomboy voice. And here's the thing. This is a stretch too because I remember not finishing the game, but also just because it was the only other game that I really like. It just looked interesting from a distance. So even though I list this as my favorite, I would only go back to it if I really wanted to. And since I don't play the PS4 or PS5, it's just like there's no real point.
Okay. All right, next up.
Yeah, moving on.
All right, next up I have racing games. First up, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Not Mario Kart 8. That game's terrible. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. Yes, Mario Kart 8.
No, just looking at my answers for like the last.
Okay, anyways, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I had a lot of fond memories of it. Playing online, even though I do rage a lot, it's still fun. I don't even know how... I've seen some Mario Kart World gameplay, but unfortunately I'm not rich because I'm trying to live a normal life. So I don't have access to it, therefore I can't play Mario Kart World. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, still fun, just to go back to that every now and then. My second one, I guess you could say it's an honorable mention because it's not a racing game, but it's got cars, it's got vehicles, it's got speed, that being Rocket League. I don't play it now and then, obviously, but I remember playing it a lot back in the day, whether it's with these guys or sometimes even my spare time. But playing it, one of my favorite games, or the favorite game modes, surprisingly, is the drop shot one. Yeah, I don't know why that one was like one of my favorites. I despise the basketball game mode though. I fucking hated that.
I don't blame you.
Yeah. The hockey one I actually kind of liked, and just playing the default one's like fun every now and then. And the what's the one with the items?
Rumble.
That's also a good one. But yeah, I had a lot of fun memories playing Rocket League. But yeah, I don't even know if you can count it as a racing game because there's no racing game mode.
Other than in Fortnite, that's the only time it's actually like a racing game.
Oh yeah.
But other than that, I also put down Rocket League because I didn't really know where else to put it. Because back then it was an addicting ass game.
Yeah.
But as for the one I actually will take seriously as an answer, Mario Kart Wii. So the probably one of the other most popular racing games, and honestly, it might be like many people's first time ever playing a kart game.
Funny thing for me, it was the one on the Game Boy Advance SP.
Or them going to an arcade and then playing the Mario Kart.
Oh my god, I remember those.
And you barely ever see. Actually, not. You still see some people on playing those things, but
yeah.
But when it comes to the people that just want to get tickets, you never see them there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I have for racing. Even though the concept is stupid, I kind of now want to try the fucking the Sonic Racing Crossworlds just because of how much people were like raving about that shit, and it's basically like the new Smash Bros of racing games.
Yeah. Did they have Minecraft Steve?
Yeah.
I'll consider it one day.
And like SpongeBob might be a
Alright. Anyways, next up, puzzle games. Yeah, I was even willing to put this. Starting with Portal and Portal 2. That was like one of like my biggest hyperfixations back when I was like 10. And it's not even for the puzzle aspect, it's for like the story and theories aspects. You know how people would make theories of just random indie games or whatever. But yeah, aside from that, That game really gets your brain meats functioning. Except me, because back in the day I would just look up a YouTube tutorial on how to beat a certain level because I just couldn't figure it out. But nowadays I actually use my brain meats to like actually figure it out. The next one I have is Big Brain Academy. It's an educational game on the Switch, and yeah, that game really does get your brain meats functioning. I played it once, and I realized my memory is extremely good. Then I played it a year later, and I noticed that the score went down. So I think going on TikTok really does ruin your head.
Damn.
But yeah, I play that every now and then just to get my brain meats functioning.
Okay. As for puzzle, I kind of just, gave off some joke answers for the most part. The first one though, 2040.
Oh. Yeah, I'll allow that.
Because I remember people playing it on like their Chromebooks in school, and I was like, "What game is that?" And then I started playing it. I was like, "Oh fuck, I got addicted." And I played it on I even played it on the airplane once, and that got me past like an hour and a half. I forgot what score I am, but it's like in like the seven or six digits. By the way.
Interesting.
This is technically a shit answer, but crossword puzzles, like you can find like an app and then you could just like do that shit.
Sure. Yeah. What was that one game you had back in the day? Wordscapes or something?
Wordscapes, yeah.
Sure.
And then Wordle, because I don't know if that would either be this category or the last one, but.
On that topic, I guess I do have one puzzle game, that being Global. It's similar to Wordle, but you have to guess whatever country it is that day. Because for some stupid reason, I'm just really good at geography. Anyways, the next up is strategy games. Honestly, when I went with strategy, my common answer was like mobile games or something. So first up, I have Cookie Run Kingdom. Cookie Run Kingdom, that is such a banger game, bro. I love all the characters, and I love upgrading each and every one of them. Okay, no, but seriously though, I'm not really into gacha games, but that game like sparked my interest just for the gacha game and Cookie Run Kingdom. That's it. Yeah, it's great unlocking every character. It's great upgrading them, etc. The next one I have is Clash Royale. I don't know why, but I occasionally go back to this game similar to Payday. Clash Royale, not gonna lie, sometimes there are times I just win without even trying, and other times like I actually have to lock the fuck in. But no, it's pretty good to go back to it, even though now there's just so many fucking cards in the game. It's too overwhelming. But yeah, that's all I have for strategy. What do you have though?
This is where I just gave up and just did not give a fuck. So, for strategy games, the first one, I put down Google Feud.
Okay.
Because for whatever stupid reason, you have to use your brain to guess the people's interests on the internet. So I guess that involves some strategy.
I guess.
And then my next one is I could not find any other place to put this because I don't play any sports games, but Golf with Friends. Because it's golf, you gotta add some strategy to it.
Okay. Yeah, I don't even know where to put that because I'm looking at all the. Here's the thing: because of Rocket League, I was debating of like making a sports section because I would put Rocket League there, and you could put Golf with Friends.
And then my last one, which is also my last one I have on the list because he has like one last list that I just didn't put because I don't have like a favorite game in that category. But my last one is Uno. Same thing with Happy Wheels. well, obviously I played the card game IRL, but watching people play the video game version of it,
It's the same fucking thing.
yeah, well, the other shit, like the swapping hands.
You can do that in real life. Me and Glenn did that in high school. Where's your card of Uno?
I think it's like over there.
Okay, well, I'm too busy I'm too lazy to go back to it.
I mainly just put this one down just because it was fun watching the YouTubers like
Okay, yeah.
play that. But yes, I know I can play IRL with my friends, but just like
Yeah.
just find it.
The funny thing is, I remember having this conversation with Jordan. He was like, what's it? Apparently, according to him, the video game version is different compared to the real life version. Even though, realistically, the only thing the video game version does is makes it so that you can't cheat.
Yeah.
Because you can say out loud the rules. You could be like, +2. You can stack +2. You can stack +4. You can jump in. You can. What else is there?
The only one that you couldn't do is the team thing. That's the only one that would be really difficult.
You technically can do that, but everyone will just have to. Okay, so like let's say like you and I are on a team. The position that we're in, it would have to go this person, then that person who's on the enemy team, then you, then you.
Yeah, it would be.
It's basically gonna be hard for like most people to remember, but so long as you remember that, you can do teams as well.
It's just easier to do it through the video game version because, like, you're able to see it like across and it still goes in the circle. So, but other than that, yeah.
But Jordan literally confidently said, "Well, you can't stack +2," and I'm like, "You can do that in real life, dude. Who's gonna stop me when I put a +2 on top of the +2 when it's not my turn? Who's gonna stop me?"
So yeah, most of these jokes are mainly a joke, a fucking course with the Google Feud answer, but just Golf with Friends and Uno are technically both games where they technically involve some form of strategy, but at the same time though, they're mainly just there because I love watching gameplay of people playing it.
Okay. All right, the last one. It's probably just my answer because Mateo said you couldn't think of anything. Game collection games. I have technically 3. First up is Mega Man Legacy Collection and Mega Man Legacy Collection 2. I should have put this in the platformer section, like just the entire franchise alone. But the Legacy Collection, thank God that exists, because I'm not going to spend $5 for each Mega Man copy on the NES that back in the day.
Damn.
So the Legacy Collection, thank God that exists, because that also includes challenges as well as the second one. It includes challenges, so you can't mimic those if you have the actual games. So yeah, there's that. And finally, my final answer, the whole reason I wanted to do this podcast in the first place, Clubhouse Games 51 Worldwide Classics. One of my favorite video game titles of all time. Unironically though, that game, it's very relaxing. Basically, it's a collection of 51 classic board or card games, such as chess or blackjack or bowling. Yeah, bowling.
My favorite board game.
Yeah. Anyways, and they also have their versions of real life board games, but they can't call it those for copyright reasons. So you have 4 in a row, which is Connect 4, Ludo, which is Sorry or Trouble, Last Card, which is Uno, and yeah, you get the picture. And thank God that game came out in quarantine times, because that game got like all my boredom out of me.
Good. And that game inspired an idea that we wanted to do as a short for a long time, but we always keep on forgetting to do it.
Yeah.
But, you know, maybe we'll actually do it eventually. Just need to remind Ruben to get the costume.
Yeah, at some point, yeah, I'll do it.
Because it's not hard to do. Like, it's literally not hard to do.
Right. We could probably film it in like a minute, similar to Sinistrophobia back in the day.
Shit. But yeah. But on that note, that is all of the video games listed. Sorry if this was a very stupid... if this was a very piss poor video. It kind of was last minute, but at the same time, though, it still got us a good laugh at the end of the day, so...
Uh-huh.
But on that note, that will be that's the end of the activity.
Yep.
All right, guys, and that's going to wrap up today's podcast. And for the next podcast, which will actually be the last podcast of this year, I think we've already said it before, but just to clarify, Ruben, what is it?
Okay, so by the process of elimination, the last one's obviously going to be the Marvel movie ratings podcast. I say ratings because I kind of want to do the format where we rate it from 1 to 10, like we did back in the first one, as well as the Geometry Dash one. And also, I was thinking about maybe splitting that podcast because since there's going to be so many of us, there's going to be a lot of talking. So I was thinking we should do phase 1 through phase 3, which is everything from Iron Man all the way to Spider-Man Far From Home. Okay. Because already that's a lot of movies to talk about. And also, after phase 4, so everything after WandaVision, they focused on quantity over quality, so there's just a bunch of shit, and it would take forever. So I think it's best if we just do phase 1 through 3.
Sounds fair enough.
Yeah.
And then on both of these will be pre-recorded, by the way.
Oh yeah, and the last one, of course, is going to be talking about every video that we did of this year. But we're going to be pre-recording that on the 18th, so hopefully we do not have any videos released between that time.
And if there are, then we'll just count them as for next year. At the end of December, we'll just count the one we did at the very last week or whatever that the case may be. So, on that note, I'm Mateo.
And I'm Ruben.
And we'll see you guys in the next one.